Good evening and thanks for joining us at 5 o'clock. I'm Caitlin Kendall.
And I'm Brian McElhatton. First tonight, the effects of the pandemic can be seen this week in a Whitley County court case. A babysitter is on trial there over the death of a little girl in her care. ABC 21's Jeff Newmeyer's live from Columbia City tonight with the details. Jeff.
Yeah, Caitlin, Brian, the trial of 30-year-old Courtney Kincaid is happening inside the Whitley County courthouse. It's done for the day, but to counter the possibility of the coronavirus spreading, only the judge, the jury, the attorneys, witnesses, and the defendant are allowed in the courtroom. Kincaid is charged with 3 serious felonies, including aggravated battery and neglect of a dependent resulting in death. 11-month-old Emma Grace Lehman died back in April of 2018 after doctors say the child suffered head trauma consistent with what you might see in a motor vehicle crash. Kincaid originally told police she didn't know how the injuries happened, but after investigators challenged her, saying, "Hey, your story isn't adding up," they claim she changed her story several times, eventually admitting she dropped the baby on her head on a concrete patio. Again, because no spectators are allowed in to watch the testimony in person, the victim's parents, family, and friends have gathered in a clubhouse locally to watch via a live stream. The little girl's dad says the ups and downs in the investigation have been tough to process.
Just when we thought we may have a story that we can hang our hat on and finally kind of start the grieving process all over again, knowing what happened, the story would change again a few months later, and it started all over again.
And I think there's a certain organic feel when you have the jury in the room with the victim's parents and family and supporters, and you hear the gasps or you hear the emotion coming from the gallery, and they don't have the benefit of understanding what we're actually feeling right now.
Now, Sherry Lehman thinks a normal trial would help the prosecution, but the parents are glad the trial is finally happening in some way, more than 2 years after the death of their daughter. This afternoon, some of the testimony centered on some of the statements that Courtney Kincaid gave to police back in 2018, also looking at a polygraph exam that was administered to Courtney Kincaid as well. We can tell you that a verdict, Brian, Caitlin, is expected by Friday.
Jeff, thank you. As we told you last night at 11, the Fort Wayne City Council overwhelmingly passed a police body camera ordinance. Today, we wanted to find out what leaders of the Black Lives Matter protest and police officers think about it. ABC 21's Corinne Rose is here with that story. Corinne?
Even though City Council voted 8-1 to approve purchasing body cameras for every police officer, this is not a new issue. However, calls for body cameras did increase after Black Lives Matter protests devolved into conflicts in late May and early June. Right now, video from cameras in squad cars is reviewed by Internal Affairs. For more serious allegations of misconduct, the chief, the Civilian Board of Safety, and the prosecutor's office review the footage. Back in October, vendors demonstrated samples of body camera equipment to police administrators to see what might fit best for the department, and a spokeswoman says data storage issues are being finalized right now.
I know there's been a lot of comments about how people think that storage isn't an issue, all this stuff, because it's cheap these days. This isn't a matter of just storing this on a cloud somewhere where we store our pictures. This is evidence. This has to be held in a certain way, in a certain platform, with secure operations.
Now, leaders with Black Lives Matter protest group Changemakers declined to be interviewed, but say they're happy the policy was passed and hope that it promotes transparency. They sent a statement that reads in part, "There are loopholes within the current policy as it stands. We hope that these loopholes, including policy regarding the punishment for an officer who turns off his body cam, will be reviewed and closed so that we won't have instances in the future that may prevent an officer from being reprimanded for these actions." By the end of next year, at least 100 officers will wear body cams, and all uniformed police officers will be required to wear a body camera by the end of 2022. Brian?
Interesting development there, Corinne. Thanks. ABC 21's coverage Well, the COVID-19 crisis begins now with a look at the latest numbers from across the state. Let's start with those. According to the Indiana State Department of Health, 630 more Hoosiers have tested positive for COVID-19 since yesterday, bringing the statewide case count to 64,299. And another 8 lives have been lost attributed to the virus, bringing the statewide number of dead to 2,733. And here locally in Allen County, health officials say another 25 residents have tested positive for COVID-19, bringing our case count to 3,450. No new deaths attributed to the virus have been recorded today. That is good news. Indiana's reopening will remain at a standstill until the end of August at least. Governor Holcomb is ordering the state to remain at what he calls stage 4.5 until August 27th. That means nothing changes for the bars and the restaurants who have to limit capacity, and the mask mandate, that remains in place too. Governor Holcomb and Health Commissioner Dr. Chris Box say the persistent high number of positive cases is a key factor in their decision. Also, the moratorium on evictions and foreclosures that'll be extended through August 14th, giving Hoosiers some breathing room at least. Health officials also reinforced concerns about protecting our most vulnerable populations.
I think the data also show us the human impact of this pandemic, right? Not in numbers, but in lives. It is easy to get caught up in arguments around masks and data reporting and reopening, but for the Hoosiers who live and work in these long-term care facilities, this pandemic is about life and death, right? This is why we are compelled to protect those vulnerable individuals, and why we collectively do so by wearing masks, washing our hands, and socially distancing.
Dr. Box said in just the last week, we've seen more than 6,400 new positive cases, more than 10% of all the cases reported since March.
And today, Congressman Jim Banks, alongside Republican Texas Congressman Lance Gooden, introduced the Civil Justice for Victims of COVID Act. The goal to allow Americans to sue China in federal court for what Banks and Gooden see as that country's role in the coronavirus pandemic. The bill matches nearly identical legislation by Republican senators rolled out a little more than a week ago. In a statement released today, Banks said, quote, "The Communist Party intentionally missiled the world during the crucial early days of the coronavirus pandemic. Countless Americans lost their jobs, their loved ones, and their lives as a result. The Chinese regime, many victims, should get a chance to get justice." And today, Indiana Tech has updated its campus move-in schedule for the fall semester. Starting August 1st, returning international students will make their way back, followed by summer bridge students on the 2nd. RA staff will be on the 5th, and during the following week, athletic teams, new non-athletes and band students will return, and with any remaining non-athlete students coming back August 15th and the 16th. Indiana Tech is asking families to limit the number of people helping students move in too. All residential students will be expected to disclose any possible exposure to the virus in the 14 days prior.
Well, the beaches are closed in Gary because of the virus. Beginning today, police will patrol Lake Michigan shores to enforce the temporary closures. It's set to last at least 2 weeks and includes another popular area for summer gatherings. That would be Marquette Park. The closure comes as Gary health officials say they've continued to see double-digit increases in new COVID-19 cases every day. Also, earlier this week, a statewide face mask order went into effect to help curb the rising number of cases. And there have been more than 4.3 million confirmed cases of COVID-19 in this country, and more than 149,000 Americans have died since it all began. And health officials are warning now that deaths could grow into the hundreds of thousands if Americans don't take seriously the guidance to wear a mask and keep that social distance. Karen Kaifa is in Washington with more.
We've seen a 66% increase in cases just over the last 7 days, and during the last 6 weeks, a 220% increase in cases.
We have over 6,000 deaths in Florida. We've had 1,425 deaths in my county alone. And based on the projections, I think we're going to have 20 to 30 or more deaths every single day ongoing just in my county.
Local officials in cities and towns across the country say the number of COVID-19 cases is surging. And as the number of deaths nears 150,000 nationwide, the head of the Association of American Medical Colleges is issuing a warning to Americans.
If we don't do something to change our course, we will have multiple hundreds of thousands of deaths in this country.
Please wearing a mask. And White House Coronavirus Task Force members urging Americans to wear masks and follow social distancing guidelines in order to slow the spread.
There are things that we can do right now in the absence of a vaccine that can turn us around. The fundamental things of avoiding crowds, physical separation, universal wearing of masks,